grids for the next couple of days. And we'll be playing a game called Hidden Treasure as well. Getting our brains warmed up, we need to write each number in standard notation and number and word notation. This is a review from last unit. Standard notation, remember, is writing the number how we normally see it. So remember, 10 to the third is equal to 1,000. Okay, so we have 3 zeros added on to the 1. We have to multiply that by 3 to get 3,000. Now, number and word notation is exactly what it says. We have to use numbers and words. So in this case, I would write 3, but then I would write out 1,000. Looking at letter B, first figuring out what 10 to the second is. Remember, it's not 10 times 2, which is 20, but it's telling us 10 times 10, multiplying it by itself twice. Or we have 2 zeros, okay, and multiplying that by 5. So in standard notation, it would be 500. And if we were to write it in numbers and words, our number would be 5, and we would write out 100. Looking at 9 times 10 to the fifth. So we would have 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and multiplying that by 9 to get us to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, decimal goes in 3. So 900,000. So if we were to write this out, I'm going to make it a little bit easier here. I'm going to write 900, and then I would write out 1,000. Ten to the sixth, be 1 with 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have to multiply it by 7. 1 times 7 is 7. That is what it's going to look in standard notation. Remember, we should always go in 3 place values and put a comma. 1, 2, 3. So if we take a look at this number and writing out the number and word, it would be 7 million. Taking a look at your math message, it's going to be asking you to plot a couple numbers. And I want you to be thinking about the ladder. Okay? If you've ever been on a ladder and you want to get to go somewhere on the roof, before you can go up the ladder, and then you can't jump across. So first you have to move your ladder left to right, and then you can climb up the ladder. You don't want to be climbing up the ladder, being up here and trying to jump and get across to the other side. So remember, you always want to move left or right. You want to move your ladder wherever it needs to go first, and then you're going to climb it. The same thing is true with the coordinate grid. The first number is always going to tell you to go left or right, and then the second number is telling you how far to go up. So if we were going to plot 4, 0, we have to go over 4 and then up to 0, or right there. And looking at 0, 4, so we're going to start at 0. We're not going to move anywhere, and we're going to go up to the 4th spot. Looking at our next one, we're going to start at 0. You always start at 0. You're not going to go anywhere, left or right, and you're not going to go up the ladder, so you're going to stay at 0, 0. Next one, 5 half. So first you have to move your ladder over to 5 and then move it up to a half. Next one, 1.25 or 1 25 hundredths, right about here, and moving it up 4 75 hundredths to right about there. Always move left or right before you move up and down. I'm going to give you a challenge today of creating a battleship game of your liking. Maybe it's going to be a superhero, something with sports, maybe your favorite TV show. But create a battleship board that you can play with a friend. A few things about coordinate grids. A plane that is flat is a flat surface that extends forever. A rectangle coordinate grid is used to name points in a plane. A coordinate grid is formed by two numbers called axes, or we've maybe heard axis. If we're taking a look back at this other page, this is an axis, plural axes. And then the number lines intersect at the right angles or at their zero. Where these 2 points meet is 0, 0 is the origin. Every point on a coordinate grid can be named by an ordered pair of numbers. So that's where we first saw some numbers when we were plotting in our math message. An ordered pair would look like, they're usually in parentheses, 3, 7. That is an ordered pair. The first number in the pair is always the horizontal distance. Remember, horizontal is meaning this direction from the vertical axis. The second number in the pair is always the vertical distance, so it goes up. So once again, you always need to move your ladder over in that horizontal position before you can climb up the ladder, which is that second number. You're going to be working and playing a game today during your math lesson, and it's going to be playing Hidden Treasures. The game is going to be in student reference book on page 319, and you're so going to need 293. Make sure you're following those directions as you move along. Taking a look, we're just going to take a look at a few examples of a botanical garden map here. We're going to find these points and go ahead and pause the video as I'm going to reveal the answers now. So where is the prairie plants? If we take a look right over here, we're going to say, we could say 11 or 12 and 11, 10. Kind of anywhere in this area, right in the middle. This is 10. Looking at the pine forest, let's go ahead right to this vertice. And remember, we got to move over first, so we got to go 3 and then up 2. And as long as your answers are near that, you are correct. The specimen forest, which is right here. So we have to move first over 6.5 and go up 3. Looking for the welcome center, located right here. We have to move over first, which is 2, and up, which is 9. So 2, 9. Remember, always going over first before you go up. To the rose garden, which is over 2, up 7. To the picnic area, which is right here. So we had to move over about 7, up 6. And finally to the Japanese gardens, located here. You have to go over first. So up to 9, over to 2. Remember, you always need to go over left or right before you can go up the ladder. If you remember those things, you will be successful in today's lesson.